joining us on Camera Combat High School Edition. I'm your host, Lucy Davis. Camera Combat brings high schools together to showcase their video production skills and compete for the best work among their peers. Today, students from Palmyra High School Broadcast class join us. About a month ago, we challenged the class to create a 30-second PSA on the dangers of concussions. So, we're going to share their work and have it critiqued to find a winner for Camera Combat High School Edition. We've enlisted a group of knowledgeable judges to help us choose a winner. First, we welcome Kyle Rogers. Kyle is an on-air and online reporter for CBS 21 News. Kyle is also an alumni from Shippensburg and was an anchor and my first co-anchor.
That's right. Good days.
Yes, and the special projects producer at SCTV. Thank you for being here. Let's give him a round of applause.
Happy to be here.
Next, we have Kaitlyn Byrnes. Kaitlyn is the Public Relations and Program Development Director at the American Trauma Society, Pennsylvania Division. It's also a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. And last but certainly not least, we have Dr. Kim Garris. Dr. Garris is a communication journalism professor here at Shippensburg University. She also has 16 years of experience reporting for various news stations. Let's give her a round of applause and welcome her. Thank you all for being here. The Palmyra School students learned a thing or two about the dangers of concussions while creating their PSAs. Shippensburg athletic students and trainers alike know the consequences of concussions. Priscilla Lucchese has more.
Where we begin here as Justin Pyle will take the opening kickoff and go up the middle.
Justin Pyle, a Shippensburg University football player, knows all too well the harmful effects of concussions.
This last one that I got, my symptoms were like I would go to class, I wouldn't be able to remember things, like bad headaches, like throwing up. Just basically, I couldn't take tests.
Pyle has had 7 concussions throughout his years playing football. Luckily, he can still play, but with doctor's orders.
He told me, he was like, if you want to play, you want to keep playing, then you're going to have to sit out for at least a whole year. And then you're going to have to get like a new helmet, like concussion-proof like gear.
Without these precautions, another injury could cost Pyle's life.
There's what's called second impact syndrome, which can be fatal. And that's where the individual isn't over the concussion and they receive a second blow to the head, and it causes basically some different things to go on in the brain and can cause a fatality.
A mild concussion sidelined Bo Wilson for a few days, and he had to prove he was okay.
In the next week and did my my concussion test on the computer. They do like these math problems and stuff and make sure you're good, and I passed it, so I played the next week.
Concussion tests are critical in determining if a student athlete should get back into the game.
Do impact concussion testing, which is a computerized testing, and we'll compare it to their baseline, which every student athlete here is tested upon passing their physical.
Whether mild or severe, concussion should be taken seriously.
I would definitely make sure that you get looked at and don't just ignore it. Don't think you're tough and just like try to like play it off like you're fine, because those things lead to a lot of bad things down the future if you don't get them looked at right when they happen.
The information about concussions and what they are and the signs and symptoms has been at the forefront over the last few years, and I think more people are aware.
Awareness aimed at averting tragic results. I'm Priscilla Lucchese, SUTV News.
If you experience symptoms of a concussion, contact your local healthcare provider immediately to get checked out. Now, on to the work of our talented high school students. The woman guiding this talent is the instructor of the Palmyra Broadcast class, Beci Pope. Becky, will you please join me on stage? Let's give her a round of applause. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you. So, Becky, your class has been working on these videos for a while now, and how do you think they did overall?
We actually watched them in class and gave feedback to each other, and the class was a little challenged, which I think is the right word that you used, because we dealt with some weather conditions. So with the snow and the ice, they had limited access to the outdoors where they wanted to film a lot of the PSAs. So you're going to see that a lot of them are inside. So hopefully you won't take that, or hold that against them because they were very limited. But one of the interesting things I thought that they did was, while we just saw the football players and we think of concussions, we think of football, a lot of them decided, you know what, there are other ways that concussions can happen, and some of the groups actually went outside that comfort zone and explored those options. So hopefully you'll enjoy them.
All right, well, thank you so much. Well, we can't wait to see what they come up with. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You may take a seat. Yeah, go ahead. Now, judges, what are you expecting to see from our groups today? Kyle, let's start with you.
I think, with our younger generation, it's so easy for us to just whip out the iPhone and shoot video. So there's more of it's more challenging to make a professional and a very quality video. So that's what I'm looking for today.
All right, and Kaitlyn?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for some diversity. As Becky said, it's not all football that concussions happen. It actually occurs mostly in females in soccer and in basketball. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
And Dr. Garris?
Well, I'm just learning all sorts of stuff. I didn't know that. And I was really intrigued by what Mrs. Pope said about sort of breaking out of that comfort zone of that most obvious. And so that's really interesting to me. But of course, as a professional, I want to see that it's done well. I want to see that there's good sound. I want to see that there's good video, that the angles are right, that it doesn't look like they needed a V8 before they did this, right? So I'm looking for those tiny things that make a difference between haphazard and actual profession.
Plus, with what Becky said, the weather, so they had to, stay inside. So that means you have to get more creative.
Yeah.
And as a professional in the field, we have to do that every day.
Yeah,
So.
there's always problems. How you
every
work.
day.
Exactly.
Yesterday was a lot of problems, I'll say that. Hopefully my boss isn't watching.
Yeah.
We made it to air.
Yeah,
That's good.
and how you work through those problems tells who's the professional and who's not. So that's really good to
All right.
Can't wait.
Well, thank you guys. All right, well, let's hear from those who made the PSA happen. Let's meet the first group who tackled their PSA with an athletic training theme. Would you guys join me up on stage here? Let's give them a round of applause. All right, welcome. So what do you think were your biggest challenges in creating this PSA?
Like you said before, it was definitely the weather, not being able to go outside and shoot some of the scenes that we wanted to shoot. So we had to shoot it inside, but we also shot in the weight room. So we found a way to kind of incorporate the sort of sporty feel, but inside.
Anything you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. All right.
She stole your thunder.
All right, well, sounds great. Thank you, Group 1. You can take a seat as we take a look and see what you guys have created. Go to the judges for a critique of Group 1's work. We'll start with Kyle. What did you think?
I really thought that was pretty good. I liked the video of it. It made us kind of go, ooh, seeing that. So I thought you really captured that well. It was good.
All right, and Kaitlyn, what did you think about their message?
I thought the message was good. I would have liked a little bit more dialogue maybe. If I did like the music, maybe a little bit more dialogue, but I did like the facts that you included as well.
And Dr. Garris, overall, how did you think they did?
Yeah, I was oof when he got hit. So that was effective. I was looking for no disruption in the music. That was the thing that distracted me the most, and I'll show you how to do that. All right.
All right, well, thank you, judges. We'll come back to you in a moment. Well, there's a look at the first PSA. Coming up after the break, we'll get to see more PSAs from Palmyra High School, and later we'll announce the big winner of Camera Combat High School Edition. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Camera Combat High School Edition. I'm your hostess, Lucy Davis. Well, we have one PSA down and only 2 more to go. The judges are making calls and evaluating the messages and video production quality for each one. Let's keep rolling as we take a look at Group 2. This team of video producers set the scene, where a fair pass for one basketball player went foul. Please join me up here and introduce yourselves, Group 2. All right, give them a round of applause as they come on stage. So, besides the weather, were there any other challenges you faced while creating this PSA, and how did you overcome them?
Well, one of the problems we had was we wanted to include more information, but since we only had 30 seconds, it was kind of hard to narrow down what we thought was important and what you guys would think was more important compared to us. So we just kind of chose what we thought we saw the most in all the other websites with the information, so we just chose the most popular result.
Anything like that?
I don't think so.
All right, well, thank you, Group 2. You can take a seat, and let's see what you guys have finished. All right, thank you, Group 2. Now let's go to the judges for a critique of Group 2's work. We'll start with Dr. Garris this time. What did you think?
I thought there was a lot of really good information in there. The 66% of teens think that the concussion is not bad enough to report it to an adult. That's a little scary. Being the mother of a teenager, I didn't know that, and I'm really glad to be informed of that. Now, if I can just know when that is, to know that they're not telling me. But that was very powerful. I thought that there was a lot of good information in that, and you can get a lot in 30 seconds, and they did.
Kaitlyn?
I would have to agree with that. They did get a lot of information in. I really like the dramatic music in that one. I find it kind of difficult sometimes when we make PSAs and things to get people to pay attention. I think that dramatic music really helped with that.
Sure.
Finally,
did
Kyle.
that kid get hurt? The basketball? No one was injured in the making of the process. I thought that was a really good balance between facts and telling a story. You kind of just went from, as a reporter, we tell the facts and we let the person tell the story behind it. And you guys did a great job of doing that. And I thought the music really helps. And good facts, too. Good.
All right, well, thank you, judges. We'll come back to you in a moment. Now, let's meet Group 3, who shows us that playing a sport isn't the only way to get a concussion. Please join me up here, Group 3, and introduce yourselves. Let's give them a round of applause. So, here, come over this way more. Step in front of me here. Go ahead. So, how did you come up with the idea for this project? Sorry. I know.
We just kind of threw stuff together.
There was no specific plan, or you had any kind of idea that you wanted to convey a message?
Just really want to get it outside of the box.
Yeah, concussions in the wild.
Concussions in the wild.
Or the school setting.
Okay. All right, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, we worked at the video and then we actually watched it and we decided to do the video again because we thought we can change a lot of things.
All right, well, thank you. Let's take a seat and let's take a look and see what you guys have. Careful. See what you guys have created. Finally, judges, the last PSA to judge. These groups haven't made it easy. We'll start with Kaitlyn. What was something that caught your eye in the Group 3's PSA?
I really liked the originality of it. I liked that you talked about things other than sports because that does happen a lot. And I've heard a lot about kids getting slammed into lockers and stuff, coming out of nowhere, people just slamming into each other. So it does happen a lot, so I appreciate that.
And Dr. Garris, what did you think about their work?
I will concur with what Kaitlyn said. That whole, trying to do a handstand against a concrete wall and falling on the
You've done that, huh?
floor. No, I have not. But I see stupid stuff even in 18 to 22-year-olds all the time, so I'm sure that kind of stuff happens. And so it's good to bring it out to these guys that, being funny can be stupid and dangerous at the same time. So.
And finally, Kyle, your
I
thoughts.
just like how you guys thought out of the box, how it can happen, quote, in the wild. I think you said that. So, because a lot of kids in your school don't play sports, so they don't think concussions can happen to them. So I thought that was
Oh, and can I throw in one more thing?
Sure, of course.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, and the nurse. Were you going to say that? Sorry.
Oh, you thought
I
of the
like how
nurse?
you got the nurse in there, too. Check in. Sorry.
What I thought of was that they said they did it, and then they were like, we're going to redo it, because sometimes, you discover in the process of making something even better. So I'm glad you did that. That's cool.
That was good.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, judges. We'll get back to you. Don't go away. During the break, our judges will discuss who will claim victory in this round of camera combat. We'll have the winner coming up. Hello and welcome back to Camera Combat High School Edition. We've been impressed by the work of 3 groups of students from Palmyra High School who've created PSAs on concussions. Over the break, our judges decided on a winner based on content, video format, and video elements. Our judges Kyle, Kaitlyn, and Dr. Garris have chosen the best overall PSA out of the 3 groups. The envelope, please, Kyle. And the winner of Camera Combat High School Edition is...
It wasn't easy.
Can I get a drum roll? Group 3. Group 3 is the winner. Congratulations, Group 3. Let's take a look at that winning piece of work as they come up on stage. All right, well, congratulations, Group 3. How does it feel to be the winner of Camera Combat?
Surprising.
All right, I heard there's a little story behind this PSA. You want to share that?
I'm sure Nate knows.
Well, he mentioned in the wild, and our original started out about 5 to 7 seconds, where we introduced it with one of our members sitting on the ground, then cautiously looking up at the camera saying, "And this is with your host, Samuel Perry." So it's quite an exciting transfer from the first to the second video.
So why the change? Did you just decide it doesn't fit, or?
It was dreadful. It was really bad. Yeah.
All right. Well, anything you'd like to say? Your winning work in the.
Yeah, I didn't think we would win, so it was surprising.
All right. Well, thank you, Group 3. You guys can take a seat. Give them a round of applause. Yes. All right. Now, judges, why did you choose this group?
Am I okay?
Yes,
I really liked the production value behind it. It just it flowed well. The video was Nate, right? Were you the one slammed into the locker? That was some good acting as well. You might want to get checked out. But no, I just really thought the message was well done, or really conveyed well.
Kaitlyn? I agree. Like I said before, I like the originality and the different look to it, the different outlook, and that it's not just sports that it happens in. It's roughhousing and goofing off sometimes too.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Garris.
I like the production value as well. They didn't go for any cheesy dissolves or effects or anything like that. They stuck with the traditional, and it always works best.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard to do anymore. I mean, when you have all those effects in front of you, but to really tell a story without using them is
and so
powerful.
They stuck to what's traditional and what works well. The music was enhancing, not disruptive, so that was good. There are some things that could be better about it, for sure, but I thought it was well done. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, judges. Well, once again, great job to the winners of this round of Camera Combat. The group will come back next month to battle it out in the final round against Big Spring and Carlisle high schools. Well, that's it for this round of Camera Combat High School Edition. On behalf of the entire crew here, we'd like to thank our judges, our contestants, and special thanks to Beci Pope for you guys at home watching. I'm Lucy Davis. Until next time, have a great night. All right, round of applause. Yeah.